The Texas ranch goes to your sister, Dad explained at Thanksgiving. She actually works hard, builds things, Mom agreed. I hung up. I emailed my investment manager from the table. Withdraw my 7.1 matters from Rodriguez Properties LLC. Maria's phone started ringing. She answered it right there at the dinner table. Her face went white. She started mouthing words at me across the turkey while everyone else kept passing rolls and talking about football. Nobody else at that table knew what was happening. Nobody except me. Let me back up. Our family ranch is 847 acres in the Texas Hill Country. 4 generations built it from nothing. My grandfather started with cattle, added oil rights, and expanded piece by piece over 50 years. The main house had been featured in Texas Monthly. There was a creek where we used to catch crawfish as kids, old oak trees he'd planted by hand when he was in his 20s. When he died 18 months ago, everyone assumed Dad and his siblings would sort out the inheritance. Dad was named executor. That gave him more power than anyone fully understood. 3 years before Grandpa died, he called me out to the ranch alone, just the two of us on the front porch at sunset with a glass of whiskey. He told me he'd looked into what I actually did for work. I work in private equity, strategic acquisitions. I'd personally structured over $2 billion in commercial real estate transactions, but my family thought I had some kind of government desk job because I'd stopped trying to explain it years ago. Every time I brought it up, the subject changed. It was easier for them to assume I hadn't accomplished much. Grandpa found out the truth on his own. He said he wasn't going to let the ranch fall to someone who'd subdivide it for a quick profit. He put it in an irrevocable trust with me as the sole beneficiary, signed and filed before I left that porch. He made me promise to keep quiet. He wanted to see what kind of man my father really was when he thought he had the power to decide. I kept that promise for 3 years. Here's the part nobody at that table knew. 2 years after Grandpa set up the trust, my sister came to me with an investment pitch. She runs a real estate development company out of Houston. The deal she presented looked solid on paper, so I put in $7.1 million through a blind trust so it wouldn't become a family situation. I told myself I was helping her build something real. I genuinely believed it. 8 months ago, my firm was approached about a separate deal involving her company. We ran full forensic due diligence. What the accountants found stopped me cold. Her company had been systematically inflating property values, using substandard materials while charging premium prices, and shuffling money between accounts to hide the losses. My $7.1 million hadn't built anything. It had gone toward paying off burned investors, settling construction complaints quietly before they became lawsuits, and funding a lifestyle that looked impressive on Instagram but had nothing underneath it. Her company was $4.2 million in debt, with 3 active lawsuits she hadn't disclosed. Without my capital, she had roughly 90 days before complete collapse. I sat on that report for months. She was still my sister. I didn't know what to do with it. Then Dad called the week before Thanksgiving. He told me calmly that the ranch was going to her. Said she was a builder, a visionary, someone who understood real property. Said I had my little government job and that was fine, but Maria had actually created something meaningful. He didn't ask what I did. He never had. The decision was already made. She was planning to turn Grandpa's ranch into a luxury subdivision. 65 homes, a boutique hotel near the main house. She'd already named it Rodriguez Ranch Estates. Every oak tree Grandpa planted by hand gone. So I made my decision. I flew in for Thanksgiving and didn't say a word. I sat at the table while Dad gave his speech about legacy and stewardship. I watched my sister stand up and talk about honoring Grandpa while she already had the brochures half designed. She even looked across the room at me and said, "That's the difference between us. I think bigger, build bigger." Then I picked up my phone and sent the email. Withdrawal complete. $7.1 million. Cayman holding entity dissolved. Documentation prepared for regulatory disclosure. Her phone rang. Then rang again. Her CFO called. Then her lawyer. She stood up from the table still holding her fork. Her voice cracked when she said my name. She looked at me across all that food my mother had spent 2 days making and said, "You did this because of the ranch." I didn't say anything. What I didn't tell her, and what she was about to find out from her attorney, was that Grandpa had already put the ranch in a trust in my name 2 years before he died. She never had it to begin with.